We've seen in the last video that what we think of as a musical note is basically a snapshot of a periodic repeating sound wave that occurs at a specific frequency. Western music is constructed around a series of these predefined notes. In other words, isolated snapshots of specific frequencies. We name them with note names. The manner in which the frequencies are chosen are derived from the harmonics and partials that are present in the sound waves. Here's an illustration of the notes on a piano keyboard and their corresponding frequencies. So you see here that the note name is corresponding to a specific frequency on this continuum of 20 to 20,000. As you scroll and move up higher across the piano keyboard and all the predefined notes, they're really just snapshots of specific frequencies that we've given note names. From this point on, though, we'll be referring to them by their note names. In musical language, we rarely, if ever, identify notes by their frequencies. Their names are adequate to identify them when it comes to music theory and communication between musicians. But let's say, however, you're programming up a synthesizer patch in your DAW. Knowledge of these corresponding frequencies can be of great use when it comes to sculpting the sound being generated. Here's an illustration now of a piano keyboard with the basic note names. And we see a piano keyboard just like we see in this plugin interface here, but here are the names on top of them. Let me try and roughly line this up so it corresponds with the image below. There we go. The piano keyboard is a collection of black and white keys. Now the black keys help you understand where you are on the keyboard. They're grouped together in groups of 2 or 3, as you can see. Now the note C is directly before each grouping of 2 black notes. So we see 2 black notes here, 2 black notes there, 2 black notes there. The note right before it is always a C, and this recurs several times in the range of a piano keyboard. Now the note F is directly before each grouping of 3 black notes. So you see the 3 notes there, the 3 black notes right before is an F. So that helps you know where you are. When you see the 2 black notes, you'll always know that that's a C and that that's an F. Just like on this real keyboard, that's a C and that's an F right before the 3 black notes. Now you'll see that there are several instances of these groupings of 2 and 3 black notes across the whole keyboard. Each instance of this range is called an octave, and the term middle C is often used as a reference point when referring to the range of a piano, and it refers to the C that falls roughly halfway across the keyboard when you're sitting down at it or looking at it. This would be middle C. So you see that all the white notes are named with the musical alphabet starting at C. It goes C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then it repeats again at C. But each octave contains 12 separate pitches or tones if you include the black notes. Now the smallest distance, or what we refer to as an interval, between 2 notes is called a semitone. So the distance between each note is a semitone. Since there's no black note between them, the interval between B and C, like that, is a semitone. Just as the interval between E and F is also a semitone. The distance between all the other white notes and their nearest black notes is a semitone. So for example, if we go C to that black note, that's a semitone. D to that black note, it's a semitone. F to that black note is a semitone. Now each of these black notes can be referred to and named as either a sharp or a flat. When you're describing it in relation to the white notes before it, it's thought of as a sharp. Let me show you the names with the sharps. So we see C, and we go up a half tone, we get C sharp. There are the names. So when you approach it from below, they're called C to C sharp, D to D sharp, E to F is a half tone, F to F sharp, G to G sharp, A to A sharp, and then the B to C, and then it repeats all over again. Now these black notes are thought of as flats or flat notes when they're referenced from the white notes above them. So again, let me open a different image here with them named differently. And now we see D going down a half tone lower is D flat. So E, a half tone lower than that, is E flat. G, a half tone lower, is G flat. Below A is A flat, and below B is B flat. And then it repeats all over again. So each of these black notes has 2 names. It's called an enharmonic name. That can be thought of as either F sharp or G flat. That's either G sharp or A flat, etc. Now the distance between two semitones is called a whole tone or a whole step. So the distance between each white note, except between B and C and E and F, is a whole step. So if we go C to D, that's a whole step. D to E is a whole step. It's a whole step because there's a half step in between them. I can go D, D sharp, E. So that's two half steps which equal a whole step. So the distance between any of these white notes except E to F and B to C is a whole step. The distance between two black notes next to each other is also a whole tone or a whole step because there's a semitone between them. So we have, let's say, F sharp to G sharp. That's a whole step because we have the G in between. And the G sharp to A sharp similarly is a whole step, just as C sharp to D sharp or D flat to E flat, depending how you think of it, is also a whole step. And we also have whole steps between E and F sharp because there's a halftone in between them. Same thing between B and C sharp. B to C sharp because there's a halftone between them. Now when you play all 12 notes in a row between each octave, that's called a chromatic scale. You're basically playing every semitone. And that's a chromatic scale, but other scales are composed of different combinations of whole steps and half steps. So what I'm going to do now is hide this, and I want you to pause your video for a moment, looking at this blank keyboard, and then just point randomly with the mouse to different notes and try and name them. Remember, the notes before the groups of two black notes are C, the notes before the three black notes are F, and they repeat every octave, and then we have the flats and sharps on the black notes. So pause your video, take a few minutes, get familiar with all the note names, and we'll continue in a moment. Alright, so now that you know all the note names, stay tuned. In the next video, we're going to see how all these are represented on a musical staff, how they correspond to the lines and spaces on musical systems and staves. See you for more next video.